Imagine waking up and realizing no one can see you, no one can hear you. You are standing right in front of your family, your friends, your teachers, and you are screaming, but it is like you do not exist. Now imagine finding out you are not actually dead. You are just stuck somewhere in between. And the only person who might be able to save you is the same person who tried to kill you. Yeah, that is the movie we are diving into today. Welcome back to Movie Recaps Hub Podcast. Today we are talking about The Invisible 2007. This one is emotional, frustrating, supernatural, and surprisingly heartbreaking. Let us get into it. The movie opens with a strange and intense moment. We see a group of people sitting around a dinner table outside a house. They are celebrating Nick. His mom is giving a speech, and she mentions that Nick's dad is late. Everything seems normal at first. Nick suddenly stands up and leaves the table. He walks over to a cake that has his face printed on it. He cuts into it, then calmly walks inside the house. He sits on a stool, pulls out a pistol, and points it directly at his face. Right before he pulls the trigger, he wakes up. It was all a dream. Now it is morning. Nick is at breakfast with his mom. His plate has a smiley face made out of food, which is kind of funny for a grown man. He asks his mom if she has thought more about the writer's course in London that he wants to attend. She clearly is not supportive of the idea. You can feel the tension. Disappointed, Nick flips the smiley face on his plate into a frown. Small detail, but it says a lot. He rides his bicycle to school. Once there, we see him doing a business exchange. He did homework for a guy and is handing it over. Right after that, his girlfriend sneaks up behind him and asks if he is coming to a party tomorrow night. He tells her he cannot because he will be busy. Then we cut to a tense scene. Two guys and a girl are confronting another boy for money he owes them. The girl is Annie. She is the leader. She threatens the boy with a knife but only ends up scratching his finger. That boy turns out to be Pete, Nick's best friend. In class, one of the students reads Nick's homework out loud. The teacher then asks Nick to top that. Nick goes to the front, sits on the desk, and reads his own poetry. It is actually really good, but his classmates look bored. As soon as the bell rings, everyone leaves. Later in the cafeteria, Nick talks to Pete. Pete is shaken up from the earlier confrontation. Nick tells him he needs to stand up for himself and stop letting people push him around. Pete says he cannot, so Nick decides to step in. Nick goes and pays off Pete's debt to Annie. Then he leans in and whispers in her ear, telling her she is broken. He really thought he would get away with that. He does not. Annie waits a few seconds, then punches him repeatedly in the face. Now both of them are sitting outside the principal's office. They have a quiet conversation. Annie tells Nick he is not better than her just because he sells essays. Nick admits he is a hypocrite. The principal calls Annie and sends her home. He turns to Nick and tells him not to waste his potential on lost souls like Annie Newton. He says she has no future, but Nick does. Nick simply asks if he can leave now. We then see Annie at home. Her stepmother has not made dinner for her little brother Victor. Annie confronts her, which leads to an argument between her dad and stepmom. Annie ignores them, goes upstairs, and makes a sandwich for Victor. Victor asks if she's going out that night. She says yes. His mood immediately changes. Back at Nick's house, Pete shows up and teases him about getting beat up by a girl. Pete then asks about the party. Nick says he will not even be around tomorrow because he is going to London for the writer's program. His mom does not know, but he plans to go anyway. He feels she's always micromanaging him. That night, Annie gets into a car with her boyfriend Marcus. They rob a jewelry store. Annie smashes the glass, grabs jewelry, runs back to the Mercedes that Marcus just stole, and they drive off. The next morning, Annie is leaving for school with the stolen jewelry in her bag. Marcus asks her to leave the bag with him. She refuses and tells him he will not do anything about it. But he does. He calls the police and tips them off. At school, Annie hides the jewelry in her locker. Pete gives her a long stare. Soon after, the police arrive, open her locker, find the jewelry, and arrest her. From the station, she calls Marcus and tells him what happened. He asks if she knows who ratted her out. She says yes and that she will take care of it. After being released, Annie is determined to get revenge. Meanwhile, Nick goes home and finds out his mom discovered his plane ticket because the airline called about a time change. She confronts him. He apologizes and says he was going to tell her. She points out he bought the ticket weeks ago. She says she feels like she has been living with a stranger. Nick packs up his things. He takes a watch and puts it in his pocket. At the same time, Pete is walking quickly when Annie's crew grabs him. They beat him up and take him to Annie. She thinks he ratted her out. She beats him, demanding a confession. The pain becomes too much. Pete says he will tell her who did it. He names Nick. Pete assumes Nick has already left for London. Unfortunately, Nick changed his mind and is still there. Nick is at the party. He gives his girlfriend the London ticket and tells her to enjoy it. It seems his mom's speech changed his mind and he decided not to go. Walking home, a car starts chasing him. It runs him into a ditch. Annie and her crew jump out and beat him. Pete tries to explain but no one listens. Annie asks him who is broken now. Nick still says she is. They hit him again. A final hard kick to the face kills him. They dump his body in a hole in the woods. During the process, his watch falls off unnoticed. Annie later confesses to Marcus that she beat up the guy who ratted her out. Marcus is shocked because he knows that was not the person. He asks why she came to him since he is on parole. He sends her away. She feels betrayed and smashes things in his workshop before leaving. The next morning, Annie burns the clothes she wore that night. Then we see something unbelievable. Nick walks out of the woods looking perfectly fine, clean, and hurt. He goes to school, sits in class, but no one can see him. No one can hear him. They even talk about him while he is sitting right there. His girlfriend calls him pretentious. His classmates say what they really think. At first, he thinks it is a joke. He tries throwing a book. It does not move. He stands in front of the principal and uses the phone. Nothing works. He shouts at his mom while she talks to detectives about his disappearance. She cannot hear him. He runs through hallways, gets hit by a car, run over by a truck, but nothing happens to him. He gets home and sees detectives everywhere searching for him. He tries telling his mom he is dead, but she cannot hear him. Detectives Brian and Kate investigate. They learn about the fight with Annie and question her on a rooftop. Nick is there listening. He learns Annie attacked him because she thought he betrayed her. He tries pushing her off the roof, but it does nothing. Search parties comb the woods. Annie calls Pete and tells him to meet at the woods. Nick feels sick hearing this. In his room, Nick watches his mom read one of his poems. His pet bird appears in the invisible world with him. He holds it and after a few seconds, it disappears. That is when he realizes he is still alive. He runs to where his body was dumped. He tries getting the search dog's attention. The dog almost reacts to him but turns away. They find his watch. Pete confesses to Annie that he helped move the body with Marcus. Annie sneaks home to pack. Victor asks if she is leaving like their mom did. She cries and tells him never to be like her. Detective Brian questions Marcus and hints that he knows more than he is saying. Nick discovers his body has been moved. Annie connects the dots and realizes Pete and Marcus moved it. She confronts Marcus. Pete tries to harm himself out of guilt. While in that near-death state, he sees Nick. They can see and speak to each other. Nick asks where the body was moved. Pete tells him. Pete's parents rush in and save him. Annie confronts Marcus at gunpoint. The police surround them. Annie escapes. Later she sells Marcus's ring at a club and dances while Nick watches. The next day, she visits her mother's grave. Nick speaks to her and touches her shoulder. She reacts. She can hear him. She breaks into the school at night. Leaves money for Victor in her locker. Nick tells her he is dying, and she is the only one who can save him. Nick's body lies at a dam. The gates open and he begins drowning. Detectives rush in time. They pull him out alive. Annie, wounded, drives to the hospital. Nick's mom slaps her. Annie insists she can help. She recounts private moments only Nick would know. Finally, she is allowed in. She lies beside Nick, apologizes, and places her mother's necklace in his hand. Invisible Nick disappears. Real Nick wakes up and calls her name. Annie says she wanted to do one good thing. She saved him. Then she dies from her injuries. In the final scene, Victor plays with a toy plane. Nick joins him. They write a message on it for Annie. Hey Annie. They let it fly. And that is the invisible. If this story hit you emotionally, make sure you leave a like. Comment below and tell me what you think about Annie's redemption. And if you love full detailed movie recaps told in podcast style with nothing skipped, subscribe to Movie Recaps Hub podcast so you never miss the next one. I will see you in the next recap.